I'm going to show you guys how to do a square root regression in DESMOS. Right, here are our steps here. The first thing that we need to do is we need to enter the table of data into DESMOS, and then we are going to type in this right here, the y1 tilde mark, and then we just simply type in a times the square root of x1 minus h plus k. Now, the y1 and the x1, you're going to have to verify that those are the x and y variables that are being used in the table, and I'll show you what we're talking about here. Then, once you type all that in, DESMOS is going to give us the value of a, h, and k, and then we are simply just going to plug in the values of a, h, and k into our equation here. All right, so let's take a look at our first example. So I have two sets of data here. I'm going to enter this first set of data here into DESMOS. All right, so let's take a look at what this looks like. And I already have that done. That's going to be the top table of data that you see in the top left corner here. Now, to enter a table of data, you just simply tap on the plus sign there and then tap on table. And so I enter in the x values on the left, and you see it's x1 on the left and then y1 on the right. So that is what I'm going to type in. So we're going to type in y, so we do y1 tilde mark, and then you go a times the square root of x1. So the y1 and the x1, those are the values that are in the table there. We go minus h, jump out of the house, and then do plus k. And then if you look right here, it tells us what the value of a is. It's 4.04. We're just going to round. The value of h is 0.967862, right? We'll round that. And then the value of k is 2.44. Now, if you look at the graph here on the right, notice that it moved to the right. So when we plug in h, we have to lie. See that h value is positive 0.967. We want to make that negative when we put that in the house. So let's create an equation here. We'll see if we can write us an equation here. We're going to go, let's do f of x equals, right? We're going to write an equation, and we're going to plug in the values here. So a is 4.04 times the square root of x minus, right, 0.9, I'm just going to round that to 0.97. And then k is 2.4, let's say 2.45. Oops, I needed to jump out. Let's see. Plus 2.45. And there you go. You see how the green and blue equations are very similar. So that means we have written an equation for the table of data that best fits. And if you look here, you see the r squared value is 0.943. It's sort of close. It's close to 1. We'd like it a little bit closer, but we're going to say that's a pretty good fit. Now look at your second set of data here. I'm going to just simply move this down here, or maybe. All right, look at our second set of data, the x2 and the y2 right here. All right, let me move that back. So now instead of doing y1 tilde mark, I'm going to do y2 tilde mark. And the reason why I'm doing y2 is because I want this regression to use the x2 and y2 table. So we're going to say a times the square root of x2 minus h, and then jump out of the house, right, plus k. And there it gives us our information here, right? Our a value is about 2.9. Our h value is negative 2.67, right? Now, if we look here, the purple went to the left, right? That purple equation went to the left. So we're going to have to lie about that in the house when we write our equation. Let's write a g of x function. So we'll say g of x equals the value of a. I'm just going to round that to 2.85 times the square root of x plus, right? I want to lie, 2.67. I want that equation to move to the left, so I have to lie in the house. And then the value of k will just negative 0.25. And so you can see that the purple equation or the purple regression and the g of x equation were 100%. So that is how you do the square root regression in DESMOS. Just make sure that if you see your table here, x1 and y1 up top, that you do the y1 and x1 tilde mark for those regression equations that match up to that table. And then when you get down to the x2, y2, you need to do the y2 and x2 tilde mark for that second set of table of data. Thanks for watching.